Okay, so that is what we have going on for tonight. But first, if you have it written down, if you want to hold up your why, you don't have to necessarily say it right now, but I want us to talk about that first and foremost, because, and then mine is digital. Well, Madison, you did send me yours, so I believe you have it. Logging in. Okay. Yep. Logging in from the computer. I see Danielle's. Perfect. I see Rachel's. Okay. So not that I'm like checking. I'm such a teacher though, where I'm like, let me check your homework assignment. Like it's so like I can't, like you can take the teacher out of the classroom, but never the teacher out of the human. So, but like just like I had you guys do the application, like there's for you to go through, like I can tell you have to have a why, but it's kind of hard to sit and actually formulate. You did get a gold star. Is there the level system? Do you use a level system? Like you can move up a clip. Do any of your kids do that when they like move up a clip or move down a clip? Everyone's moving up a clip. Oh, Madison, or not Madison. I saw your face. It's Erica. Erica's she's on two things, and so she's catching the thing. But anyways, so your why is so important because we can get like super excited in this business and we can have spurts of productivity and we can have like spurts of motivation, you know, like let's say you're like super into your personal development, you're like, I am on top of the world, but your why is going to keep you grounded and keep you consistent. But it's so funny because everyone has different whys, and my why is very financial. And for a long time that made me feel kind of bad. Like my intention wasn't as pure as someone who was like, I just want to help people. Or a lot of times people come into coaching and they're like, well, I just want to help people. But there has to be more of a why. There has to be something in it for you. And that's not a bad thing, but you are going to be sacrificing your Netflix time. You're going to be sacrificing your comfort. You're going to be sacrificing maybe getting up early, maybe going to sleep late. Like you have to have a why that's more important. So I want you to write this down if you haven't done it. Like go back in the team calls in February. Brigida hosts, I'm pretty sure was it the beginning of March? Maybe it was the first week of March. But Brigida did a call and it was a live call exercise. And it was the 7-layer why. And I talked about this before, I think last week's team call, but it was very eye-opening on like getting to the bottom of your why. So I'm going to show you, and I haven't seen your why. We're going to have the opportunity to share that either tonight on the call or in this week. But I don't want you to feel bad if your why is not very deep, because for a long time, mine wasn't really deep. It was deep, but I didn't know how to like articulate on paper why I really wanted this. And so the 7-layer why, like I started as like, you know, well, I want to be like financially free and I like want these things. And it was like really, it went a lot deeper. And so if you have, I remember, and is Megan on the call? Yeah, there she is. Okay, so Megan, like a while ago, I did in the team page, like, why do you want to do this or whatever? And she was like, I just want to have my Shakeology covered. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's more to it. There's more of an emotion tied to it. It's not just, well, I just want my Shakeology covered. It's because if you did not have that covered and you had $115 come out of your bank account, and that was taken away from something else, that is tied to an emotion. That's tied to stress or that feeling of, oh, how are we going to make it work? How are we going to wiggle things around? It's tied to an emotion. And so it's not so much if you just want to get your Shakeology covered. And I'm not saying this in a negative way, because I told Megan that was the exact same why that I had when I first came in. I was like, well, one, I need the discount on Shakeology. And two, if I could get this covered, it would mean so much. But it ties to an emotion so that you can dig deeper, so that it's that I don't want to feel stressed about money, that I don't want to feel, and I know that we're all there. Like when you get the low threshold account alert, like, I don't know if we're all there, but I know that we've all had moments where we've had that. And it is I can't even get the words out, because my entire life there has that is a reoccurring thing. Like my stepdad was a doctor, and you would never know it because like they filed bankruptcy and they were just awful with money. And then like we couldn't, I remember my mom laughing because she had one of those like old school wallets, like remember like the Franklin planners. So she had like one of those where all the card slots, and she had that many credit cards, and it was like so overwhelming that's what it was. And so then I was like, I'm going to do it right. So I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have the baby. And then I couldn't afford my bills. And so when coaching came in, I saw a financial opportunity. I remember the year I became a coach, it was the year that Brigida joined the Million Club, which means that collectively she had earned $1 million as a coach. And I was like, is this even real life? I was like, yeah, I'll do it too. But it was because it wasn't just like I'm greedy and I want to make a bunch of money. It was because I want to reverse that anxiety. So whatever yours is, try to go deeper. And I'm not saying you have to do it right now, but try to go deeper unless you already went super deep. But let yourself be vulnerable enough to go deeper and to say, why am I doing this? Why do I really want this? And get ready to pull from that, because we're going to get really uncomfortable in this group. Okay. Because all of you said,
up there was where all the houses. I never heard any word that where we're at.
But I should you not.
Right in there. But they got Mama's house back there now.
2 months ago, I seen 10.
Oh my gosh, I hear Joni's husband. Joni, I love you. Okay, so, there's a chat. Okay. Sorry, on my phone is not my favorite thing ever, but this is where I'm at. So, what was I saying? In the application, I had you guys check off, like, what's your biggest strength? What's your, like, what do you feel the most comfortable with? What do you feel the least comfortable with? And like, what would you like training on? So every single person said that they need help with inviting. And that doesn't surprise me, because I struggled with inviting for a really long time, but I made up these numbers, but I think if you invite for 5 days consistently, even at a low number of 3 invites or 5 invites, if you invite for 5 days consistently, you, the fear and the uncomfortableness and the avoiding, it goes away. But if you stop inviting for 2 to 3 days, depending on how uncomfortable it is for you, you start right back at the beginning, and then it's reforming that habit, and it never happens unless you just go all in. So because this group is about leveling up, what we are going to do is we're going to level up, and we're going to invite every single day. So a homework assignment for tonight is that you download either that app I told you about, productivity, or like if you're good with Apple, how they like set alarms or check, I don't know. If there's a way to do it on Apple, maybe someone is a whiz and could share that. I don't know how to do that, but I know that there's a way to like set reminders, but I just don't know if you can check them off like in an accomplishment kind of a way. But we are going to be inviting consistently, because all of you are here because like you see the potential, you want this. I'm looking at everyone. I have not been in the accountability group with everyone, but I have heard of everyone and their success with, I don't know, Transform 20, Lift 4, all of them, any of them. Oh my gosh, 2B Mindset, like all of the programs and how it makes you feel, how it makes, like your love for the products is clear. Your love for the feeling and the community, you're here. That's check, check, check. But if you want to grow this business, you have to invite. So the section on your Success Club tracker that is about building your business, so finding followers, nurturing those relationships, inviting them to a challenge group or the coaching opportunity, that has to happen, or you are just going to be an awesome promoter of Beachbody. And that's okay, but that's not why you're here. You're not in this group to just be someone who's like, oh my gosh, I just love Beachbody programs. You are a CEO. You are leveling up because you know if you dove into this, if you like, guys, when I started to grow a team and I started to run team calls, sometimes I still get a little sweaty just because if the content, I'm not like 100% on the content, like I get a little nervous. But I would like, when I took public speaking in high school or college, I had to like not go to my first 2 classes in the day because I would literally be in the bathroom having to go potty all morning because I was so nervous for the 3 speeches I had. So I had to save my absences for those other classes so that I could essentially poop all day and waiting for that thing. And I became a coach and started running team calls because my coach quit. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is awful. Then because I dove into coaching, I dove into building a team and inviting and doing the things. I then in Maryland, I gave like 3 presentations to the entire school about autism. And that is not something that I would have ever felt comfortable with, but I felt like I had at least practiced talking to people. So like we talked about before, leveling up in this business is going to help you level up in your entire life, because Beachbody doesn't have to be your life. It doesn't have to be your end goal, but it can be the thing that pushes you in all the ways for everything else. So I don't know if we want to unmute or in the chat or whatever, but somebody tell me their 10 scheduled hours, and like, you can be rough. You don't have to be like, I mean, be specific, but whatever. Because some of you, I'm assuming, have 30-minute chunks. They're not all 1 hour. I don't even do 1 hour things because you guys see, I can't even get any time. But if somebody wants to say, I have scheduled this, and this, and maybe say what you do, because not everyone knows everyone, and so that could help someone else know where to schedule their time. Just unmute yourself, whoever.
I can go.
Okay.
That time. So hi, anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Madison. I work full-time in marketing, but I'm actually finishing up these next few weeks at the job I'm at right now, because I got a new job and I'm really excited about it, because it is like 5 minutes from home versus the hour to hour and a half commute I have been driving for about 2.5 years. So that makes me excited, because I'll have a lot more time for my life, but also this business. Thanks, Rachel. So the schedule that I built is kind of the schedule I plan on also incorporating into that side of my life, as my life gets a lot easier and I don't have to get up super early just to make it to work on time. I plan on putting time in the morning so that I can get my workout done, but also get like an hour of my business done in the morning. And that way, when I get home, I have as much time as I can with my daughter and my husband. But then I also put in a small chunk before bed, just like 15 minutes to sort of check my messages, check on invites, and follow up. So every day it's about an hour and 15 minutes or so. And then on the weekend, I added in like an extra lunchtime section. Like on a Saturday, I added in like an hour where my daughter doesn't always nap, but I can have some downtime and put her down and watch some TV or whatever. And I can take that hour to do whatever it is I have to do. I also scheduled professional or personal development into my ride in the morning to work so that I can listen to it then. Or if I miss it, listening to it while I cook dinner, because I have an Alexa right next to me and I can just listen to my Audible there.
I'm muted. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so we have a marketing corporate ladder lady. Who else? Who else wants to say when they're gonna work?
I can go.
Okay.
So my name's Megan. I am a special education teacher for kids with emotional behavioral disabilities, and also a full-time volleyball coach. And so I don't have a lot of time. But what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to get up another 30 minutes earlier and set my intentions for my posts for the day, because I think Brenna was going to share with me an app that you can like plan your posts and go ahead and set that in there so they're already ready to go, which I want to figure out, because I think that would be helpful. I've noticed on my friends list like strategic times that people are all ready and willing to be a part of Facebook. So I might post them at like staff lunchtime and right after school. But I'm usually busy during that, so I can't do it myself. anyways, and then again, like Madison said, again at the end of the day, so practice gets out at 6. So I have from 6 to 6:30, and then again from 7:30 to 8:30.
Awesome. And I think that also too, when you, what a good thing to do, and I learned this from Keisha, and I'm not like perfect at writing every single word out, but kind of having like a weekly plan. Like, what do you have coming up? Are you trying to fill a challenge group, or are you trying to fill like a coach open house? And then like that's kind of at least has helped me. But I am not as good at like, I do know that Brenda sometimes like has the entire post written out, ready to go. And which is great time management, especially for when you're busy. And I remember teaching full time being like, okay, like, what am I going to say? Or is that, or like, what's the great time, you know, to do it, that people will read it. A lot of times I think like my best post is like my nighttime post, because people are like in bed scrolling, but that change, I feel like that also is not Bible. That changes all the time. Joni just typed in the chat, she's at a family night. I just muted myself, sorry. What about Danielle? Not to call on her, but she said she was ready to level up, so I'm
Gee, thanks. I just kicked my husband out of the room because I'm like, don't look at me. No, so my alarm goes off every day at 5 anyway, but I don't always get out of bed and I don't always get myself moving. So I thought that Monday through Friday, I'm already up at 5. So pushing myself to get myself going between 5 and 6, and that gives me enough time to get ready for work. And then also I scheduled myself in time, like after my kids go to bed, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but I want to not do anything on Thursdays and Fridays because those are my husband's days off. And so I put that on there as like, I'm not available that day for myself. And then Saturday, my girls have dance all morning. So I'm just sitting in a dance studio watching them. So I have like an hour and 45 minutes that I can fit that in. So it ends up being like about 10 to 12 hours. Like I put in a couple that are flex. But I liked Madison's idea of like professional development in the car, because I hadn't thought about like where that fits in. I thought, oh, that'll fit in some of these times somewhere. But like that's a really good one to think about. So
yeah, for sure. I still do better with I love personal development. Like I like crave it, but I can't just like sit there and like twiddle my thumbs and have it going. Like I have to be doing something, and that's why I usually do it in the shower, in the commute, or when I do dishes. But I have also found that like, and this is what I found. So it was my goal every day that when I drove to work, I would listen to professional development or personal development. But when I was on my way home, it was optional, because sometimes it's like you're done from the day, you know, like that's why I think getting up and doing something in the morning is so important and impactful for your whole day. Because, and I was telling my husband, I said, it doesn't matter if I get up at 4:30 in the morning or 7:30 in the morning. When 6:30 comes around with these kids, like I'm done. So it's like, we're just drained from work. We're drained from life. And so if we wait to fill our cup, and personal development is such like a fueling activity, it's either like we don't want to fill our cup because we're just empty and we're already done, or it doesn't really fill us up because we've already emptied ourselves so much throughout the day, and we just might not hear the words the same. You know, like on the way to work, you're like, it's going to be a great day. My students are going to listen to me. They're going to be like, awesome. We're going to get all of our things done. And then, you know, on the way home, you're like, little mother, just kidding. Just kidding, kind of. So, okay, who else? One of the Rachels.
Lice might be singing to us all.
I love it.
Okay, so I started doing my personal development on the ride to school in the morning, so Alice can have some good feels and I can have some good feels. And then I can't exercise right now, so I'm going to do an hour of inviting and messaging new followers right in the morning so I get it done. And I want to do an hour to focus on like my social media posts and learning about Instagram growth. So that's like going to be in the middle of my day. And I have an hour when Elias is in therapy that I usually always do my follows and do new connections. So if he doesn't have therapy, it's in the afternoon. And then I'm done doing everything by like 4 o'clock. So I can just spend time with him, do my, dishes and stuff like that. And then I'm going to do like my self-care and shower after I get him to bed if he ever goes to sleep. So that's how my day's planned.
Good. And then ideally, if in a perfect world, I think it's great to like, I like project time at night because I'm a little bit more fueled by like doing creative things. So like if it's like making graphics or that's for me. So, for you guys, if you're like wanting to explore and do something or like, whatever you feel is creative in this business, whether that's posting or like crafting conversations or something like that, I think that's better to save at night because then it's like you're a little bit more motivated because you're just watching TV kind of playing with stuff or answering messages, like just having casual conversations or like your challenge group check-ins. But in a perfect world, we would be like donezo and we would just be like with our kid and then we'd like make our to-do list at night and like then be prepped for the next day. But yeah.
I have an hour that I don't have anything scheduled. So if something doesn't work out, I have an hour to slip it in there or I just stay up later. So
yeah. And some days, and that's the thing about leveling up is like, and I don't know when I said this, I have to like keep track of when I say things, but the sliding scale, right? Is that like sometimes like you're going to have to feel out your business and as you're doing the tracker and figure out where you need to slide that scale. So if you, and I was going to say this in a minute, but we'll talk about inviting really fast, that when you're inviting, there are not two ways, there's a million ways to invite. But what we've been talking about generally on the team is that you either initiate conversations first, like get to know people, like if they have a story going, like you're watching their stories, you're commenting, and then after some natural conversation is happening, you're, inviting them. You're not, health and fitness might not come up, but you're at least having a conversation first. Or somebody is watching your stories consistently. Maybe you haven't messaged and you're just inviting them anyways because they must be interested in what you're doing. There is no right or wrong way. You just have to do it consistently. So if you are someone who needs to have some form of conversation initiated first, then as the CEO of your business and as someone who is leveling up, if you on Monday look and you don't have anybody on your list, like you're like, I have no conversation started right now, then you need to stay up later and start some conversations. Or if when you wake up on Tuesday, you will have no one to invite. And that is something that you just will have to check and balance yourself. And this is not a perfect system. It will take time to be able to recognize that. Like I remember learning to do that because I did the Hey Girl method for 3+ years. And I still do that when I'm initiating connections, that part I do the same tracker you guys do. When I do initiate connections, I watch people's stories. I particularly open up who's watching my Instagram stories and then go down. And if they have the ring for their stories, I watch theirs. And then if I happen to go through those people, then I'm trying, in a perfect world, we are having conversations before I invite them, but sometimes you just can't get to everybody. But so there's, that is where you have to be okay with whatever feels right for you and be confident that and then remembering the dual thing here, your why am I doing this? And also that this is a gift, and that just because you have some limiting belief in this business that maybe, well, I'm not at my perfect goal, insert weight, financial situation, insert any of them, that doesn't mean that they can't be. We hand people tools. We don't say like, hey, do what I've done. We say, this is what I've done and this has worked for me. This is my team. My teammate has done this. This is what's worked for her. But ultimately here is every tool in the toolbox. Even if you didn't have a team and you didn't have a coach and I quit and deleted everything off Facebook, you have a back office that has a coach online training system. You have the national wake up call. This business has all the tools. And so this is a gift. This is a gift for someone who feels lonely and needs community, who needs help financially. This is a gift for someone who needs help with their body and their self-love. It's a gift for like literally everything. So you have to have those two dual things in your mind all the time and then make inviting a habit. So Rachel, what's your schedule? Other Rachel, Rachel squared.
I like that. Rachel squared. Yay. Can you guys hear me? Sometimes my microphone's weird. Okay. So one of my big things is I struggle with waking up earlier than my kids. And then the mornings that I seem to wake up earlier than my kids, my dogs are nuts and they wake up my kids because they're so excited to eat that they like legit wake my kids up. And then I'm like, this is ridiculous. So this sounds really crazy, but I was talking to my husband and I was like, I need to figure out a way to get up, because when I know I'm not waking them up and I have this hour to just spend on this, my whole day goes better. So we are buying automatic dog feeders. We had one for my cat and it worked wonders. So we're going to do that, because I know, even though I'm not a morning person, I don't love it. It's not something I look forward to. If I can spend 1 hour working on this and loving on this, I'm set. I'm great. Like I can fit my workout in. I'm good with that. So my goal is to do that 6 of the 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And then Sundays typically, Sam knows this, but Sundays typically, since my kids have been born, my husband's like, you sleep in, you do your thing. But really since starting Beachbody, I'm like, I just want to work. Like I can get up at 8, that's fine. And then I want to get stuff done. So I have like a chunk of time that varies on the weekends, but from like 8 to noon on Sundays that I can devote to working on this business. Like today I wasn't able to do that. So I went to Panera this afternoon for 3 hours and just worked on Ultimate Portion Fix. So the mornings are huge for me. I think that will help me. And then my kids typically take some time in the afternoon. So that's kind of like my more flexible time. And then for sure, Tuesdays and Thursdays when my kids are at school, I have around 3 hours on those 2 days. So some of them are a little bit flexible. The areas I'm not flexible on are I'm going to get up in the morning. That is a goal of mine. I just feel like I have to start the day off. Otherwise, you're just playing catch up. And then for sure on Sundays, I always do stuff at night. I almost always read before I go to bed. So it's Rachel Hollis or whoever I'm reading for personal development. And then sometimes I do posts then too, because I feel like I can just recap my day and be like, wow, like I did all this today or whatever. But that's kind of where I am. Mornings are like key.
Yeah, I agree. And I became a morning person when I became a teacher, but it was like not like it was just a get to school kind of morning person. It wasn't like, let's get up and do this. And now, especially having kids, it's once they're awake, the day is theirs. Or, once you go to work, the day is your employer's. And that's how it should be. Like, we want to have integrity in our jobs. We want to be focused on our job when we're at our job. But this is also your job. And so if you want it to be what you want it to be, if you want to make money, if you want to do the things and hone into your why so that you don't have those feelings of anxiety or, fear of failure, all of that, you have to put in money. It's like the same thing, if you've got a part-time job at Target, you can't be like, excuse me, I didn't show up for work, but where is my paycheck? So it is the same thing. And then, okay, so we have Erica and Tiffany on. So whoever.
Okay, I couldn't find the unmute button. I had to do something special to find that. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Erica. I'm a 4th grade teacher, and that's a lot of work. So I scheduled by the day, not the exact time. Kind of just depends for me. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I usually stay at school till 6:30 at night. and do everything for the next week, like the planning and the copying and stuff. So like on those days, I'm not going to do much, but so I like just literally wrote, Chester, don't mess this up right now. If my computer, super ghetto side note, if my computer gets unplugged, it like turns off, and he was about to touch it, and I was like, please don't do this to me. Anyway, so like today I did like 2 hours, so I just have like different days and stuff, and then I'm going away next weekend, so my schedule kind of just changes like week to week with like appointments and everything. But like Sam said, I'm like a morning person, and that like I'll work out and I'll get to school on time, but like I'm in no way spending like an hour leisurely on the floor. Like I'm doing my makeup at red lights on the way to school. So my goal is can you just like not right now? So my goal is to wake up at like a little bit earlier, because I'm going to do the ultimate portion fix and like new 21-day fix, which is already longer than transform. So that is my morning goal. But everything's going to kind of happen in the afternoons on most days, except for days that I stay late at work. And I want to do like what you were saying, Sam, about making a weekly plan. Don't mess up. And figuring out like what I'm going to invite to, and have like some sort of structure. Like I probably won't write them out completely, but having some sort of a plan to follow. And then when I really don't want to do something, just looking at it and be like, okay, this is what I have to do. It makes it a lot easier. So that's one of my goals, like trying to figure out how to schedule within the month, and like what all that.
Yeah. And it just takes practice. It just takes practice to like kind of know, because once you do it, like you'll see, once we go hard this week, and when I say hard, I mean like we're going to show up consistently. We're going to show up to the things that we say we're going to show up, even if, like I have said, like in 2018, I said, I don't care what I do, but I will send those 3 invites and 2 follow-ups, even if my eyes are red and I'm in bed before, I'm going to just do the minimum no matter what. And it pays off, and then you have this new sense of accomplishment. So Tiffany, what is your schedule? If you're able to, I know your video's not on, so if you are also at some kind of family party, just maybe type in the chat or hop on and tell us. Okay, so I'm going to assume that she's not right there at this particular moment. So, okay, so we have our, oh, here it is. Got to stick in my hand. Okay, she's going to type it out. Good. Okay, good for accountability. Yay. So we have honed in on our why. We have planned it out this week, what we're going to be doing. And this is also a question I get all the time. Well, when should I invite? Like I get it all the time. You should invite every single day, because most of the time there's also this idea that like people are watching us so closely that they really know when our next accountability group is coming up, but they're not. We probably know each other's lives way more than anyone knows our lives, because we know to watch these things. And so they might see every once in a while, like, oh, she was just talking about, when you say 10 hours. So I said for business building activities, which business building would be in like the invite part, so follows, that kind of stuff. But you know, like I think like a 1-hour team call would be so when I taught full time on Tuesdays, the only thing I did in regards to the business was the team call and like answer messages and check in the challenge groups. So I mean, I think that is a longer time commitment. That is for sure. National wake up call to me is just on the way to work. But it depends on how you do the national wake up call. If you do the national wake up call with a notebook, and that takes a little bit more focused time. So, but basically, and in my mind, if we schedule 10 hours, what really happens, right? Then we'll get less. Because something will come up at work, a child will need you. So if you schedule, and then, this business can be built on 1 hour a day. So 7, but not even, hi baby. What? You got poop? Thank you. Always when something is going on. Cammie, we're at the park, drops a huge poop. Cammie, you say hi to everyone? Yeah. God, this girl. So then we're going to talk about how we're going to form this habit and how it's going to be really uncomfortable. So also, some of you are starting 21 Day Fix tomorrow, and you're probably going back on the container system. Just like when you go container system and you go clean eating, you get like a headache. And you're like, oh my God, I want the sugar. Even if like, because I'm not necessarily like, buying Sour Patch Kids every day, but I'm definitely having things all the time. And so when you're doing the container system and you're doing this stuff, you're going to detox a little bit. So this week, you're probably going to start off like really excited tomorrow because you're like, I'm doing this. And then, Tuesday will come. And then by Wednesday, you're going to be like, I don't want to. So this week for 7 full days straight, we will invite every single day. Okay. And again, that is maybe your eyes are bloodshot. You're so ready to fall asleep and you're just sending 2 invites before you go to bed. Ideally, you're doing 5, or you're setting the timer for, whatever it says on the Success Club tracker. And you're just you're trying to beat the clock. How many can you get in? But we're going to do it every single day, and we're going to hold each other accountable, and we're going to cheer each other on. But also because this, I don't want this group to be like one other thing you have to do, right? Because we have the National Wake Up Call, we're still going to have team calls. We're still going to have things. So I want your other homework assignment. So to download the productivity app, and then I want you to tonight go on YouTube and pick 3 go to 3 YouTube channels that you like, coaches that you enjoy or admire, or if you don't know any, I can tell you some top coaches who are good, who are in the moment now doing the things, who are building a business right now. And I want you to download, or not download, it's like you put like watch later, save and watch later, so that when you are driving to work or you're doing the dishes, you can be learning about business development too. I don't necessarily, it's a sliding scale, right? So I'm not saying like you need to do your Rachel Hollis and do your business development and I'm just giving you more things to do. But if you are so struggling with inviting right now, I would do the invite YouTube. And then maybe if Rachel Hollis, you have time later, that's awesome. It's going to pump you up. But then I want us to post in the group when you finish one so that we can swap, and that you can share your takeaway and share like, well, this actually wasn't my favorite training. Don't watch it. Or does anyone have a better one? Yes, Danielle, that was my last assignment for the Q&A call we had. And because I have team calls where I've talked about inviting to coaching, and they're in my YouTube. But I'm not offended if you want to go to a top coach and look, but I'm also not going to sit here and give us one more call to do, one more training to do, when you guys can do that kind of in the cracks of your day. And then I would love to come back and then ask specific questions, like, hey, I invited all week. I focused on inviting all week. And this is what I was getting. Maybe you were getting a lot of ghosting. Maybe you were getting a lot of this particular answer. And then we can talk about more specific examples. But in regards to formulating the invite, you just have to do it. You need to act like you are standing in front of a person. And how would you say it? You would not say, oh my gosh, I'm doing a fit camp. It's $160 and you're going to get all of the things. Do you want to do it with me? You would say like, hey, I'm going to do this virtual accountability. It has like home workouts. Do you want to do it? Like, you have to, my favorite analogy is you don't eat a whole sandwich by shoving the whole thing in your mouth. You have to do it bite by bite. So you're like, hey, do you want this sandwich? And they're like, I don't know, what's in it? And then you're like, well, there's like, you give the details as you do small bites to see if it's something that they want. But we also, the push is like, I don't want to call this a diamond push group because I feel like diamond seems so far away, and diamond is really not that far away. Diamond is like really I don't want to say it's easy because it just takes consistency. It just takes consistency. But Diamond is right there. So when you are like, well, how do I invite to coaching? An amazing way in the beginning is, one, just to ask people who you truly think would be great. And there are probably already some friends or people you work with, maybe someone you like know their personality, that you could say like, hey, this is like, I'm loving this for these reasons. And everybody's reasons are different. Do you want to do this with me? Or when you're getting somebody signed up with a challenge pack, ask them if they want to sign up for the discount, because, you know, hey, we're going to be doing this for a while. Yes, we're going to do this one program together, but then we're going to do the next group, because this is not about just like crash dieting for 21 days. This is about creating lifestyle changes that are not going to happen overnight. It is the same price to sign up, but if you want, you can sign up with the coach discount, and then you can get the next time you'll have 25% off. And hey, you know, if you wanted to try that Energize, I had, you know, Cammie's walking around with her phone pretending to talk on it. She's mocking me. Yes, Cammie, thank you. But you offer them that because it is the best value for them to save the money. And you, as the CEO of your business, are going to have coaches coming in every single month. So if someone is like, you know what, I don't really need the discount because I'm really not going to order consistently, I'm going to cancel that. No big deal, because you as the CEO have new coaches coming in. We never wait for anyone. And I say that with so much love, but if I could show you my downline board right now, I only have 5 coaches I was a coach in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and now 19. And I only have 5 coaches from 2015, 16, and 17. People will quit. It doesn't matter. Your vision and your goals is what is going to anchor you to this business. So we don't wait for anybody. I don't wait for anyone, because they might have something come up in their life that is not my business. It's not in my control, but my goal of helping women change their lives, helping me change my own life, getting out of the struggle that I have been in my entire life. I identify with struggle, and I'm really sick of identifying with struggle. I was talking to my husband last night, and I was like, all I've known is struggle. Like, and that doesn't mean that everything has been this like, oh my gosh, this crazy struggle that I'm like this warrior, but really very few things in my life have been easy. And I've just felt like I just want to pay all my bills and like not have to worry about it. I just want something to be easy. I want to fight so hard for this so that we can be in a different spot. And that is bigger than anything. So when you're signing up a discount coach, know that the time that they're with you, you're going to be saving them the most money. And that is awesome. And then that helps you advance rank, because Diamond, first we get to Emerald, which is 1 on each side, which is awesome. It's going to activate your cycle bonuses. But then it's going to be, you're going for 4 on each side plus 1 Emerald on each. And I have always trained everyone to sign up their spouse and build that coach, build his account or her, you know, whatever, or a controlled account of some kind. Like we have some people use their moms. Yeah, baby. Hello. Oh, is it for Cammie? Here you go. Okay, here you go. But because Diamond is just one destination, and then really all you do is we have a Diamond party. It's so exciting, and then you go to 1 star, because we can't control what other people do in this business, but you can control what you do. Epic multitasking, always with Cammie. She is one soul-sucking, loving creature. So you are going to go hard for the next month, because we have this group, and why not use it right now? There is like no better time. April is an amazing month to go hard in this business, because it sets you up for a really strong summer. And summer, for some, you'll see in the summer, you either have somebody who is so ready to go because they have extra time because it's summer, or they're way more resistant than they would have been at a different time in the year. It's like you get these very 2 extremes. So April right now, pushing so hard in April sets you up for your summer, like period, point blank. So what you're doing right now as it's going to have, you guys will be all, yes, we'll all be in Success Club this month. You will all be Emerald coaches. You will all be, you know, signing coaches up on the path to Diamond. Hopefully some of you will be Diamond by the end of the month. I'm pushing for Diamond on my controlled account. But what you're doing is pushing so that later it's so much easier. You just have to trust me. Okay, I mean, if people are going to push, we want to start qualification as a team on Thursday, May 2nd, because as our team, like at Summit, Team Bold Fitness being recognized as a star or 2-star or 3-star or whatever, Diamond, we have to hold that for 6 weeks. But I think we're going to do this particular push group for 2 months, because then it's like June, I'm looking at my board. I promise I'm not just staring off awkwardly. June 6th, I think, is the day that if you are going to Summit, if you wake up June 6th and you are Diamond at Summit, there's like a whole bunch of recognition for Diamond. There is different training tracks. You get a medal, like you get like a thing. It's very exciting. So you definitely want to be Diamond by then, especially if you're going to Summit. But yeah, so that is kind of it for this call. This wasn't a lot of as much rah-rah as sometimes I have, but we're setting ourselves up right now for accountability. And then, yeah, go see Carter. Okay, go get him. You go get him. Okay. What is there anything that you guys need? So I think, because we're what, Kenny? You go, you do it. Because we're all our own CEOs of our own business, that when you do your invites and when you do your stuff, to just post in the group, like, hey, I just did this. Hey, I just did this many invites. And stand tall in your invites. Please don't compare anybody else's work to your work or to your work to their work, because you heard it. We all have different time frames. I built this business, and I built a pretty good business on very minimal hours, because that was my reality. My husband, as you see on every team call, he's always at work. I worked full time. I have little children. Yes, that's a princess. And what I could get done is what I could get done. So stand tall in that if I post or someone else posts, or heck, maybe Megan takes whatever day she said on, like, she has more time and she busts out a crap ton of invites, like, that's awesome. We're going to cheer each other on, but don't ever say, well, oh crap, Erica, it was my late night and I made copies. I only sent 2. This is not a comparison game. This is that you just rocked it. We're going to cheer you on, and here's what I did. And essentially that will push each other to be like, well, maybe tomorrow I could do 4 instead of just 2 before my eyes shut, like, it will motivate you. But if you compare, you just get in your head about it. And I'm someone who did that for a really long time. Or perfectionism, right? That's what held me back in 15, 16, and 17, is that my goal would be to set the timer for 20 minutes. And if I couldn't set the timer for 20 minutes, then I would just do nothing, instead of just showing up and doing something, because it compounds. That is how you make Success Club. Building your list every single day that you add another name to your list, it adds up, so that when you're ready to invite and you have a Saturday, or you are like, hubby, I'm going to Starbucks for 4 hours or whatever. What, baby? If you're going to go do the things, I'm not coming downstairs right now. I'm just plugging my phone in. And then you can bust out a bunch. That list is everything. So write your names down, whether that's on a spreadsheet or a notebook. It really does not matter, as long as you can navigate that list quickly, so that when you set your timer, you have a list to stick to. Because if you are going to do your invites and you are somebody who likes to initiate conversation first, like, you need to intentionally reach out to people and build relationships with them. Because if you just like scroll back in your messages and you're just looking for people who maybe you've been talking to, you're going to end up talking to the same 10 people. And just like you can't wait for your coaches to show up and do what you want them to in this business, you can't wait for people to join a challenge group when you want them to. Because how many of you told me you were ready and then didn't do it for a little bit? And I was never once offended, but it took me a really long time to get there. So that's not a dig at anybody, because as I'm scrolling, it was all of you. It was all of you. And I love you. And I love you. And that's not a negative thing, because literally I could look at my entire downline and every single person took 3 to 6 months. So if you are talking to the same 10 people, that's going to be great 1 month when you make Success Club 10. And then for the rest of the year, you have nobody else. So that is why we're continuously talking to new people, because, and I'm scrolling back and forth. I happen to be looking at Danielle right now, and Danielle had to be ready. She had to decide. It had nothing to do. I probably had said the thing that she needed to hear months before, but she wasn't ready to hear it until she was ready. And just like, so what we do as coaches is we tell the same story over and over. We show the same evidence over and over. I mean, we make it fun. We do different workouts. You know, we prep different food. We listen to different personal development books, but the theme is the same. The theme is I'm showing up being my best self in a imperfect person that I am. You know, I'm human and imperfect, and I'm showing up. And then the next day, I am imperfect and I am human, but I'm showing up. And that's the message they get. And we just have to slap a different picture on it and, you know, like do different things, but we're talking to new people. So I challenge you all tomorrow, just because it's Monday and we're going to kick it off straight, or kick it off right, kick it up, whatever, is before you go to work to send 5 invites. Whether that is you haven't even got out of your bed yet and you're just opening up your phone and like, you know, don't scroll, don't do that, because then you'll go down the rabbit hole. Set the timer for 10 minutes and try to get out some invites. You want milk and chocolate? Always, this child. Is start the week off right. Give yourself some motivation and just a kick in the butt. And when you go to work, you're going to have a little pep in your step that you already got your invites done. You already got the hardest part of the job done for us, our tribe. I'm sure there are other tribes that are, you know, fine with inviting, but we struggle because we all have such big hearts. And so we always think, well, maybe today's not the right day, or maybe we should not do it right now. Or we're somebody who periodically does a massive amount of invites and just can't get that consistent. So then you have spurts of people who are joining your accountability group as opposed to consistently. Ideally, like every week you're signing new people up so that by the end of the month you're hitting Success Club, or by the beginning of the month you're hitting Success Club, and then you're just getting all the even more Success Club points. Because we're all going to be in Punta Cana next year together, and that means being in Success Club. So if you need something, I need you to have the courage to ask for it. I'm not saying right now, because you might come up with something that you need. I encourage you to reach out to people in the group, but in the group, don't slam the door or mommy will lose it. If they wake up Cannon, it's over. So yes, Punta Cana is the goal. We need to all be there because it is so fun, you guys. It's so fun. And I promise you, after you take your spouse or a friend or a loved one on the Success Club trip, they don't question you ever again when you're like, hey, honey, I got to work tonight. They're like, yes, actually, please, can I bring you some water? Would you like a snack? Like, they get it. They're like, this is great. Because I had on my coach's team that first like 9 months that I had a coach who was working, one of her like best coaches, I would, you know, you can call it, was someone who had like she really did not have financial goals in the business. That was not a driver for her. it was a driver to earn the trip and to earn it as free as possible, and to have like really fun accountability groups, because she just really loved it. And that was back in the day when you bought DVDs, and like everyone always did the same program because you bought a DVD set. There was no other option. So everyone has different drivers, but I think Pujikana should be a really high one for everyone. So have the courage to reach out when you're struggling. Have the courage to say, it doesn't have to be a big explanation. Just say, I'm avoiding, guys. And then everyone will say something to you. You know, come on, you can do it. Like, just send them, you know, like pretend to go to the bathroom and just send them out really fast. You know, like just do whatever you need to do. Just get it done. But have the courage to reach out. Have the courage to be okay with doing something instead of everything. And I promise at the end of this month, after we are consistent and push, that your whole business will be completely different in May. Okay. And if anyone has any question, I'm scrolling back and forth. If you have a question, if not, the villagers are getting restless. And but how are we feeling? Like, we feeling good? Are we feeling Tammy, my love hug? It's great. Picture, yes, but can someone do it because I'm unable to do it? Someone has to count. Someone unmute themselves and count. Are we boomeranging or picture or both?
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
First, we're gonna do a picture. So ready?
Yep.
1, 2. Hold on. Let me get a good angle here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now a boomerang, but like Sam, you know my boomerang skills are subpar, so like maybe someone else should jump on because it's not always pretty.
Stop, Carter.
Carter agrees.
Madison,
All right.
or Rachel or Madison, or wait, Erica, are you doing it?
I'm doing it, but I need to move these stupid sneakers out of the way. Okay, I'm ready. 1,
2,
2, 3.
All right, tag. And then when you're having like big ahas, like tag your friends, tag me, because when you go live and you talk about it and then we share that stuff on our story, that makes people think, oh, she's not just a girl sitting behind her computer. There is this whole tribe that she's with. Like, it adds a little for people who, like, oh my gosh, my children are out of control. For people who, like, have that FOMO thing, like, that really, I'm someone who has the FOMO thing. Like, when I think everyone is having fun and I'm not there, it really makes me angry. It does. Angry is an appropriate word, and I chose that right. So, not that I'm trying to get people angry, but it's a good way to show, like, you could be with us having all this fun. Just like, you know, Brenda's in Mexico right now, and I'm like, ugh.
If you haven't told me your Instagram handle, put it in the chat so I can tag you.
All right, guys, I'm so excited. Tomorrow starts a month of crazy consistency, and I'm really excited to just rock with you. Oh, and if you need, like, post in there if you need a coach to follow for, like, the trainings. Ashley Molstead just did a really great, it was, like, called, like, how to sell, and, like, spoiler alert, like, it's all about not selling. It's about sharing. That was a really good motivating one, but if you're someone who needs, like, technical skills, like, there's a lot of coaches who have done some great training. So I love you guys. We will talk soon.
All right, I'm good now.